they couldn't breed that intelligence back into the populace. I don't know.
Yeah.
So after Zaius says, Mr. President, I think indictment is order, and this brings up the line that you mentioned about scientific heresy, Honoris jumps in and says, yes, sir, the state charges Dr. Zira and Cornelius with contempt of this tribunal, malicious mischief, and scientific heresy. So now we've got the idea the prosecution knew it was a setup, right? The prosecution is now involved in all of this. Not just Zaius, but the prosecution knows that all this. When we speculated earlier when they brought all the humans out into the field,
right.
That they already had them all rounded up.
Well, I thought that to that point, the more this goes on with the blind objections and the heresy and all these kind of things, it really is showing for the first time that whatever this is with Taylor truly threatens the orangutans. There's a threat here that they need to suppress. And we're seeing 100% with their control of this moment, unwillingness to listen, unwillingness to converse and discuss, just shutting it up. Shut me up, shut me down is what it is. And there's a threat. What is the threat?
What is
because if to your point, has Zaius been going out and exploring the other things and doing this? Has he been looking for Taylor? Has he known someone like him existed? Has he expected it? Or is he just so fearful because he's seen something that it might exist? And now it's we can all wonder what space explorers coming to our planet would be like, be it from Close Encounters of the Third Kind or whatever. Or E.T., and we hope for it. Sean's doing the signs from Close Encounters. But we hope for that. But the moment that reality comes, we're terrified because we can't define truly what's going to happen.
Sometimes the new is scary, yeah.
And is that what's happening? Is he's like, oh, shit, I've really worried about this all my life, and here it is? Or did he know this was going to happen?
I don't know.
Well,
Having not seen future minutes, I don't know.
Right. The president says, be it so ordered, the tribunal will examine all the evidence presented here and in due time render a verdict. The proposed indictment on the disposition of the deviant in question. Pounds the gavel, this hearing is adjourned, and that kind of ends our minute here. So I feel like Zaius and Maximus and Honoris are all colluding to want to shut down Zira and Cornelius.
Mm-hmm.
I think the president is kind of blind to most of that manipulation. But it is just this moment where we start off this trial thinking it's about Taylor and it ends up being about Cornelia and Zira.
Right.
And so how long has Zaius
been waiting to do this?
To shut them down.
Yeah.
He's been waiting to find the time to do this.
Because he could have.
The means.
Why would Zaius not have taken care of Taylor earlier when he saw the writing in the yard? He saw a perfect setup to take down Zira and Cornelius later on.
Well, could it have been that simply maybe the ape system is he couldn't just kill this person? Do they have anything that protects, much like we have PETA and things like that watch out for animals? Is there anything that watches out for humans?
I don't know, because in previous minutes they were very adamant about being just excited to do brain surgery on a human as soon as they can, and they're hunting them down in the fields and hanging them up like meat. So it doesn't seem to me like they have that much protection for humans.
True.
I don't know.
There is some conflicts in the way the universe is set up and how humans are treated versus how they're treated in this situation, and which body of the government governs them, and what are their rights and what are their not rights, and there are some conflicts, overlaps, and we're not really fully.
Yeah. And I wonder.
I'm not sure somebody actually sat down and thought of that out either.
To that extent, knowing that there are future. I'm sorry, as I hit the mic here. Knowing that there are future movies involved in this series, I wonder how much thought was given into there might be a sequel. So how do we plan this society and make sure everything's set up in a logical fashion so that it can continue in other movies versus let's just make the story work and then.
I think it was the latter from everything I've read, and there's a great book that comes with the deluxe Blu-ray set that makes me think they had no inclination, because films at that time really didn't do sequels unless they were true B movies, and they were just trying to churn garbage out. Because when the
sorry, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. We weren't getting a ton of spin-off movies from.
There's a lot of thought that, especially in that book, and I'll get it for the next episode so you guys can see it. But that this was the precursor to things like Star Wars having the ability to make
another movie after it.
So, I mean, think Star Wars comes along less than 10 years later and sets the standard for what the Hollywood tentpole idea is. We make one thing, we make a franchise out of it, we tell continuation of stories. This came along and was a shocking hit. And the Hollywood mantra at that point was, you don't make sequels because it diminishes the original. And that's part of why when we get to it, and we'll get deeper, Charlton Heston didn't want a lot to do with the second one because it was like, I don't do sequels. You know, that's even why Spielberg didn't do Jaws 2. Was because you didn't do it. It was thought to be lower than you. You got second tier directors, and he now says that's one of his great stumbles that he should have made it.
Really?
So they did. I don't think they thought anything about a second film. I think they just tried to make this.
They tried to make the logic just work for this one movie,
right?
Instead of continuing.
And I guess that's probably pretty hard, you know, then making that and trying to come back and go, what is the logic outside this world?
Yeah. All right. Do y'all have anything else?
No.
No, we just ended our court case. The meeting is adjourned. It now comes down to exactly what is going to happen with Zira and Cornelius, and to a certain extent, Taylor. So I guess that wraps up this Minute of the Apes. I'd like to, if you could, go to minuteapes.com to check us out, or you can email us at podcast@minuteapes.com, where you can find all of our social media info and so on. And rate, review, subscribe, share. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks as always to Sean and Todd.
Thank you, Richard.
Beautiful January day.
So refreshing.
A little chilly, but so pretty. Sunshine everywhere.
All the way up in Oklahoma.
Oh.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Bye.
The Minute of the Apes. The Minute